Hi guys, my name is Amanda Okolo. If you're just seeing this beautiful face of mine, and I'm a medical laboratory scientist and a YouTuber here in Lagos, Nigeria. I post content related to medical lab science, lifestyle, and just basically vlogs. So today's video is a highly requested video. In today's video, as you can already see from the title, I'm going to be talking about how much a medical laboratory scientist earns in Nigeria. I'm first of all going to be telling you guys about the different levels, hierarchy of medical lab science, as well as the different salary. I'm going to be giving you a range of salary that they are likely to receive in the private and the federal sector. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, why don't you just sit back and enjoy this video. So guys, I have my book here where I wrote down the different hierarchy and the level. So I'm going to be stating that now before finally proceeding into telling you how much they earn. So first of all, I'm going to be starting with the federal sector, federal establishments including teaching hospitals like University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, FETAL, that's Ebonyi State Teaching Hospital, and the rest of them. So yes, in the chain of hierarchy, the first person or the people that are normally referred to as the baby scientists are the interns. Yes, you already know that after your program you're expected to do a 1-year internship program. So on the chain of the hierarchy of medical laboratory science, the interns are the top. That's like they are the first people, and they run on cohorts 8, meaning that they are receiving, their salary range is always between 120 to 140,000 naira, depending on the establishment and depending on the establishment and depending on so many other things, including all these other fees that they normally deduct, probably tax, pension, all these association fees, union fees, AMSIN dues, NOAP, and all of that. But the actual salary for an intern, which is like coins 8, is normally between 120 to 140,000 naira. I just want to put this out there. I'm going to be giving you a range. Doesn't mean that okay, if they're not paying you 130 to 140, you should sue them. This is what is expected. But as you already know, this is Nigeria, and a lot of things can be hindering those kind of things, or a lot of factors can affect your own establishment. So I'm just trying to give you a range that I was gotten from a compilation of my research from majority of the hospitals, teaching hospitals or federal hospitals in the country. Yes. So after the interns, the next people on the chain, we have the senior medical laboratory scientist 1. Senior medical laboratory scientist 1. These people have concluded their internship, concluded their NYSC, and are now working as a full-time medical laboratory scientist. So they are starting on the level of senior medical laboratory scientist 1, and they are currently placed on cohorts 9 step 2, meaning that their salary range is always between 140 to 160, depending on the establishment and depending on the amount of deductions that they decide to take. But that is the actual fee for cohorts 9 step 2. After the senior medical laboratory scientist, we have the principal medical laboratory scientist. These people earn about 30,000 naira higher than the senior medical laboratory scientist 1. Principal medical laboratory scientist always earn between 160 to 210,000 naira. Principal medical laboratory science always earn 160 to 210,000 naira. So let me come again with the hierarchy. First, we have the interns, which are like the baby med laboratory scientists. Then we have the senior medical laboratory scientist 1. Then we have the principal medical laboratory scientist. So now moving on, after the principal medical laboratory scientist, we have the chief medical laboratory scientist. Chief medical laboratory scientist. That's why most times you go to some federal hospitals or federal labs, you always hear them saying chief. Yes, they are the chief medical laboratory scientist, and their salary is always between 250 to 270,000 naira, depending on association deduction, tax deduction, and all of that. Yes. So the next people on this list, after the chief medical laboratory scientist, you have assistant director med lab services. Assistant director med lab services, and these people earn between 300 to 320,000 naira monthly. Assistant medical laboratory science, assistant director medical laboratory services, and they earn between 300 to 320,000 naira a month. After that, We have the deputy director medical laboratory services, and these people earn between 350 to 400,000 naira every month. They earn between 350 to 400,000 naira every month. After the deputy director medical laboratory services, we have the director medical laboratory services. This is like the highest peak of the level of hierarchy, and they earn between 400 to 550,000 naira. They earn between 400 to 550,000 naira. So now that is the chain of hierarchy as regards to federal establishments and how much they are being paid. So now let us talk about the privates. For private hospitals or laboratory, it's always very non-significant. It's not so easy to give an actual range of how much it costs, because there are a lot of factors that affects it. First of all, location, because I know clearly that laboratories in the east, while I was doing my internship in the east, laboratories in the east that I came across were paying their scientists, like some people pay 60,000, 80,000, 100,000, all of that. But coming to Lagos now, I realized that okay, private hospitals here pay a lot more higher. They pay between 150, some 120, depending on how small the laboratory is. But the standard fee, as far as I'm concerned, I think that no medical laboratory scientist should be collecting anything less than 150 from a private laboratory or hospital. So it's very difficult for me to pinpoint and say this is the actual amount that a medical laboratory scientist working in a private hospital is earning, because depending on the hospital or the laboratory, depending on staff size, depending on patient size, and so many other things, some people earn as high as 250,000 naira from laboratories in this Lagos that I am aware of. They earn as high as, for starters, so they earn as high as 250, while others earn as low as 120, depending on the hospital. So for the private sector, it's always not easy to pinpoint and say this is how much you should be earning. But if you were to seek my opinion, I think that no medical laboratory scientist should be collecting anything less than 150,000, be it private or federal establishments. But that's my own opinion. You might think otherwise. So guys, it's important for me to state that every year your salary is supposed to be increased by about 2 to 6,000 naira, depending, every new year. This is not a case of promotion or anything. You're still a senior medical laboratory scientist. You're still on whatever position you are, but every new year your salary is expected to be increased by about 2 to 6,000 naira, depending on next. I hope that in my own little way I've been able to give you an idea of how much medical laboratory scientists earn in Nigeria, because I've been getting these questions a lot. So I couldn't just avoid it. I couldn't just ignore it, because I know that even while I was in school, I was always wanting to know what the salary scheme of a med lab scientist is like. So I think that this video will be helpful to a lot of young med lab scientists that are upcoming. So if you're watching this video right now and you know anybody studying medical laboratory sciences, or you are a medical laboratory scientist, you could share this to various platforms or group chats, so that it will give them an idea of how much they'll be earning eventually. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like this video, and click on the notification bell, so that whenever I drop a new video, you'll be aware and you'll be informed. Thank you very much. Till next time.